Most rear-end settlements are paid by the other driver's insurance company. The insurance company can't pay you until a claim is set up. So setting up that claim is the very first step to getting the other driver's insurance company to pay you fast. Every claim gets its own claim number. Think of the claim number like a social security number, but for your claim. There are generally two ways a claim gets opened with the at-fault driver's insurance company. One, the other driver reports it to their agent or insurance company. Two, you or your lawyer report it to the other driver's insurance company. Now, there's two situations where the other driver usually reports the crash themselves. The first is where their airbag went off. The second is where their car got towed from the scene. But if there's only minor damage to the front of their car, they might not report it at all. Maybe they don't care about fixing it. Or maybe they're afraid their rate's going to go up. To set up a claim, the other driver's insurance company needs a few things. First, they need the date of the crash, and they need it for 3 reasons. 1, so they can order the correct crash report. 2, so they can confirm that the crash happened while their driver's policy was active. And third, the date of the crash starts the clock ticking for you to sue the other driver. They'll also need their driver's policy number and a short description of how the crash happened. They'll ask you whether your car is damaged and whether you were injured. That's so they can assign your claim to the right adjuster. The more serious injury claims, the ones with broken bone or a surgery, go to the more experienced adjusters. Once the claim is set up, the insurance company starts its investigation. Now, here's a huge mistake that people who get rear-ended make. They assume that just because they've been given a claim number, they're going to get paid. That's 100% wrong. Getting a claim number doesn't mean you're going to get paid. For you to actually get paid, a few things have to happen first. The first thing is the at-fault driver's insurance company has to confirm there's coverage for your crash. Let's say the other driver handed the officer their insurance card at the scene. That might be a good sign, but it does not mean they have coverage. For there to be coverage, the policy has to be active on the day of the crash. In other words, the other driver had to actually pay their insurance bill. And there can't be an exclusion in the policy that causes a denial. The most common denial I see in rear-end crashes is that the car that hit you isn't listed on the policy. The second common denial is that the driver wasn't listed on the car owner's insurance policy. In fact, one of the largest auto insurance companies in both Florida and the United States recently did the following. They added a requirement that their insured has to add any new employees who will be driving the vehicle within 90 days of hiring them. That didn't exist in my first 20 years of representing people injured in car accidents. If the insured car owner didn't do that, their company can deny coverage, which leaves you with no compensation, even if the other driver was 100% at fault. If you're injured, the at-fault driver's insurance company usually puts 2 different adjusters on your claim. First is a property damage adjuster. That adjuster handles 3 things: the damage to your car, your truck, or even something like a broken cell phone, the lost value of your car now that it's been in the crash, and a rental car or loss of use claim while you weren't able to use your car. Do you know why insurance companies are some of the richest companies in the world? It's because they pay out a lot less than they collect in premiums. And it's easy to forget that when you're dealing with a friendly insurance adjuster. But no matter how nice the adjuster is, they are not going to tell you how to get the most money, I promise you this. Their job is to pay you as little as they can and move on to the next file. Most adjusters are carrying between 100 and 300 claims at one time, so closing yours fast and cheap is a good day for them. If you're hurt, the other driver's insurance company also assigns a bodily injury adjuster. A lot of them just call themselves the BI adjuster. That's the one who handles paying you for your medical bills, your lost wages, and your pain and suffering. Now, if the insurance company clears coverage, that's great, but it's just another step, because the adjuster still has to figure out 2 more things. 1, fault, which is also called liability, and 2, your damages and injuries. To figure out fault, the adjuster takes a few steps. One of the first is to look at the traffic crash report. And here's another common mistake I see people make. They think the form the officer hands them at the scene is the crash report. It's not. That form is called the driver exchange of information. It usually takes a few days after the crash for the officer to actually write the crash report. The crash report will explain in a paragraph or 2 how the crash happened, and there'll usually be a diagram of the crash. The other driver's insurance company will also try to talk to a few people about how the crash happened. One of them is their own insured, who's often the owner of the car or truck that hit you. If the driver isn't the owner, the adjuster needs to check whether they had permission to be driving that car or truck. They'll also want to talk to you. And they'll often try to put some of the blame on you for the crash. Because if they can put blame on you, they owe you less money. They only owe you in proportion to their own driver's fault. For example, if their driver is 60% at fault for rear-ending you, they only owe you 60% of your damages. Take my recent case where Mark was driving a car when a truck rear-ended him. The impact was serious enough that it shattered the glass in Mark's car's liftgate. Before the crash, he had a shoulder tear. When he was rear-ended in this crash, he re-injured it. Mark's health insurance paid over $15,000 to the hospital and doctors. The other driver's insurance company offered just $25,000 for Mark's medical bills and pain and suffering. The adjuster even mentioned to me that the damage to Mark's car or the truck that hit him wasn't huge. She was implying that this wasn't that serious of an accident. I fought back and got the adjuster to offer $65,000. And then the adjuster put in writing, I can tell you this is not a six-figure claim. She was trying to cap the case at around $65,000 and saying the claim isn't worth $100,000. I then got her to increase their offer to $75,000, then $80,000, $85,000, then $100,000, then $115,000, then $125,000, then $135,000. Yes, even a simple rear end accident is like pulling teeth. And we finally settled for $150,000. All after she told me the case wasn't even worth $100,000. Please never believe the adjuster. But the fight wasn't over. Remember that $15,000 that Mark's health insurance had paid toward his treatment? They wanted it back out of the settlement. On this case, I got that health insurer repayment claim knocked down to about $4,200. That's over $10,000 that stayed in Mark's pocket instead of going back to the health insurer. After lawyer's fees and paying back his health insurer, I wired Mark over $95,000. Okay, next the adjuster will also want to take your recorded statement. And there's a sneaky trick many adjusters use to get it, so please don't fall for it. They'll tell you they can't pay for your car damage unless you give them a recorded statement. That's not true. I've settled plenty of rear-end accident cases for $100,000 or more where the adjuster never took my client's statement at all. In fact, in Mark's case, they never took it after I refused. Since you don't have a contract with the other driver's insurance company, you're usually not required to give them a recorded statement. They'll also want to know if you were stopped when you got hit. And if you weren't, they'll want to know if you braked hard or slammed on your brakes. They're asking so they can try to blame you for the crash. So just as an example, let's say that your case is worth $50,000. Imagine if the other driver's insurers puts just 20% blame on you for getting rear-ended. Your settlement would be $20,000 less. And 20% less of $50,000 is $10,000. We're talking about real money. Okay, so next the adjuster may also want to talk to any witnesses. Next, they'll want all your medical records and bills. They'll ask you to sign a medical authorization so that they can go get them. But if a car or truck rear-ends you, 99% of the time you are not required to sign the other insurance company's medical authorization. I don't let my clients sign them. Now let's talk money. By law, the insurance company has to set aside a certain amount of money to pay your claim. That money is called the reserve. The reserve can be anywhere from $0 to a huge number. Your goal is for them to set that reserve high, because you can only get a big settlement if the insurance company sets aside big money. But most people who get rear-ended have no idea how to get the insurance company to set the reserve high. And that one thing quietly destroys their shot at a real settlement. The good news is there's a proven way to push that reserve up fast. So watch this video next where I show you the exact move that can quickly raise the reserve on your claim. And if you're injured in a rear-end crash, click the link in the description below to see if I could be the lawyer for you.